So in this video, I'm going to provide a brief overview of what is nonverbal communication. So to start, nonverbal communication is communication through more behavioral means as opposed to words. So this is everything from our physical appearance to our facial expression. So if you've ever heard the quote, "It's not what you say, it's how you say it," that's referring to nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication accounts for approximately 65% of meaning, according to a meta-analysis, which is an analysis of analysis, from Burgoon in 1984. You may have read online at one time or another that nonverbals account for up to 93% of meaning. That number is not really based on communication research, which is why we don't use that for this class. Many nonverbal behaviors are unintentional. In fact, we don't even think about these nonverbal behaviors when we're doing them. So, for example, take a look at what you're doing right now. Are you moving your feet? Do you have a grumpy facial expression? Are you twirling your hair? Did you realize you were doing this? Probably not. We know from the first unit that unintentional communication is still communication, so these unintentional behaviors can provide a lot of information to those around you. Nonverbals also carry more meaning than verbal communication. Especially if they're not complementary, meaning the verbals match the verbals, we really tend to believe the nonverbals. So for example, if you have a grumpy look on your face and someone walks up to you and asks you what's wrong, and you snap back and say nothing, they're a lot less likely to believe that nothing and believe the nonverbals that go with it and that something is wrong. Nonverbals also carry very ambiguous meaning. So a simple yawn could indicate someone's bored or tired or maybe even has a breathing problem. Without asking them directly, many times our interpretations of nonverbal behaviors can be wrong. So think about a time where you maybe interpreted someone's nonverbals wrong. What happened? Maybe it wasn't a great outcome. So that gives you just a really brief overview of the characteristics of nonverbal communication. In the next lesson, we'll dive into some specifics on the types of nonverbal communication. So in the second part, we're going to discuss more of the types of nonverbal communication. So first we have kinesics. Kinesics are our body movements, like what I'm doing right now. There are several types which are outlined in the reading, so I'm not going to go into all of them. But I want to highlight adapters, which are the more fidgety behaviors, such as moving your legs or playing with your hair or scratching an itch. I point these out because it's really interesting to watch students in our class because everyone is performing some sort of adapter behavior. They do serve a physiological purpose, reduce anxiety, or maybe serve some sort of physio or psychological need, maybe making us more comfortable. People who are fidgety also tend to burn more calories throughout the day, so perhaps there's benefits to our physical health too. So next we have expressions. There are actually 6 universal expressions as identified by Ekman and Friesen: anger, fear, happiness, sadness, surprise, and disgust. Kind of cool when you think about that these are universal and not necessarily cultural. So this shows definitely an evolutionary or just human nature origin. And to prove this, you can look at babies and you can see their expressions from them at a very young age when they're just days or weeks old. For example, around 1 month, a baby smiles, indicating happiness. Before that, they might smile, but it might just be gas. So the smile is one of those universal expressions for happiness. Next we have the Vocalics, or the paralanguage is another word for it. And this is the part we don't generally think of when we think about nonverbal communication. This is really the how you say it part of communication. So think about speech delivery. Vocalics include things like our tone, like are you monotone, are you really enthusiastic about something? Is your pace fast or slow? Is your volume loud or soft? Also, like the uhs and the ums and the other non-word sounds are also a part of vocalics and paralanguage. Even silence can be a form of nonverbal communication. Next, we have Oculesics, or eye contact. So we know the importance of eye contact in delivering speeches. And perhaps you've heard the phrase that the eyes are the windows to the soul. If you're having a conversation with somebody and they look the other way, that can certainly communicate to you that they don't want to talk to you anymore. So strong eye contact really communicates a sense of confidence while speaking, as well as a sense of trustworthiness. So next is haptics, or touch. Touch is really the communication of emotion. So think about the emotions involved in punching someone in the face or giving them a hug. There's a lot of extreme emotions there. In general, the United States is a fairly low contact culture, so we don't generally, hug strangers or give people a kiss we don't already know. We generally don't touch when we're not comfortable with the person. But, however, in other cultures, it may be commonplace to give a stranger a hug and a kiss. So that's really how haptics can vary from culture to culture. Some other less traditional, I guess you could say, forms of nonverbal communication include proxemics, or the use of space and territoriality. To illustrate this, when you are in a traditional classroom, think about where you sit. If you don't have assigned seats, most of the time you're going to sit in the same seat every class anyway. And if someone else sits in your seat, or the seat you usually sit in, like theirs, you feel offended by that. Like you feel like somebody has violated your space, even though the seats are not assigned and you can really sit wherever you want. But just kind of human nature territoriality, we tend to do this. Also, physical appearance and artifacts are other types of nonverbal communication. So one really interesting aspect of appearance is called the halo effect. In general, we create impressions about people very, very quickly, and many times this is based off their personal experiences. One study done by Olivola and Todorov, and I apologize to them if I mispronounce their names, found that people were really able to predict the winner of an election just based off their physical appearance when provided with a very short, like millisecond, photo of the candidates. So to really wrap up here, communication has many facets. Nonverbal communication has many more facets, and we can easily see how nonverbal communication can carry so much meaning. So in the next section, we're going to talk about a more application of nonverbal communication, and that is deception. So in my opinion, one really cool area of research in nonverbal communication is in the area of deception. So we tend to think of the shifty eyes and the lack of eye contact, or looking to the right or to the left. Notice those are all eye behaviors. Or fidgeting as general behaviors of deception. However, research in communication in the area of deception has shown that not one combination of nonverbal cues is exclusive to lying. So there are some nonverbal cues that are consistently associated with lying throughout research, but since we know nonverbal behaviors are ambiguous, they can also mean other things. So for example, deception is generally associated with anxiety and tension. When you notice anxious behaviors such as fidgeting or lack of eye contact, it could indicate deception, but it also could just be related to an unrelated anxious situation. The person could just be very anxious. A meta-analysis done by Bond and DiPaolo showed deception accurately detected at around 54%. So not much better than chance, right? You're either lying or you're not, so there's a 50-50 chance. So we are just a little bit better at chance in detecting deception. And even with training, Frank and Feely, two researchers, found this number might climb closer to 58%, which is still not really that accurate at detecting deception. Why? Because of what I said before, nonverbal behaviors are ambiguous. But what about when someone is close to us versus a stranger? Is it easier to tell when someone close to us is deceiving us? And you'd probably think yes, you'd know when your partner is deceiving you because you know they're deceptive nonverbals. You know every time your partner lies to you, they shift their eyes back and forth or do something funny with their lips because you know them that well. But actually, research has shown the opposite. Research has shown that we are actually worse at detecting deception when someone's close to us. This has been explained by McCormack and Parks by what is known as the truth bias. The more you believe that you can tell when they are lying to you, the more you tend to trust them, and so you become more truth biased. So to sum up, in any situation, we really aren't that good at detecting deception. So remember next time you see a professional lie detector on TV or someone wins money for telling the truth, see some clips that I'll add to this lecture here, that, maybe it's not really as accurate as we think it is.